Today, we are going to have a very deep, very honest, and perhaps a very necessary conversation. I want to ask you a question that might feel a little intense, but please stay with me. Do you know what it means to have a trauma bond with someone? It is a term we hear thrown around a lot on social media these days, but often, the true meaning gets lost in translation. Most people would wrongly assume that this means bonding with someone over a shared trauma, like two people who survived a difficult event together and became close because of it. While that is a form of bonding, that is not what we are talking about today. Actually, a trauma bond is a defining characteristic of many toxic and abusive relationships. It is a psychological response to a cycle of abuse. And it is often the main reason why we might find ourselves unable to leave a partner who hurts us. A trauma bond refers to the deep, confusing, and powerful emotional attachment one might feel towards their abuser. It is a bond forged not in love, but in survival. It is more likely to develop in those of us who have a history of abuse, exploitation, or emotional codependency in our past relationships or our childhoods. The most dangerous thing about trauma bonds is that they can easily be mistaken for feelings of intense love, passion, and commitment towards another person. The intensity of the pain makes the moments of peace feel like euphoria. So, with that said, I want to help you navigate this fog. Here are some signs to look out for that tell you if it is not actually love that you are experiencing, but a trauma bond. Number 1, the other person is outwardly charming. This is the trap. This is the hook. Of course, if given the choice, no one would willingly choose to pursue a relationship with someone who acts abusive towards them from the very first date. If someone showed you their dark side immediately, you would turn around and walk away. The problem is, however, that toxic relationships do not start out that way. They start like a fairy tale. It is usually only when you have already experienced the abuse, when you are already invested, that you start to realize something is wrong. You might develop a trauma bond with someone if they are outwardly charming, sweet, caring, and seem trustworthy to you. They might be the life of the party. They might be the person who buys the most thoughtful gifts. They might tell you that you are their soulmate within a week of meeting. But do not be fooled. This charm is often a mask. It is a performance designed to lower your defenses. There might be something more sinister lurking beneath it all. The charm is the bait that keeps you waiting for the nice version of them to come back when the mean version appears. Number 2. They are emotionally unpredictable. You might be asking yourself, why don't people just leave the relationships once they realize that it is unhealthy for them? It seems so simple from the outside, doesn't it? But the trouble is, it is a lot harder to spot trauma bonding when it is up close and personal compared to if you just saw it happening to someone else. When you are in the eye of the storm, you cannot see the destruction clearly. This is because abusive partners can often be emotionally manipulative, too. They do not abuse you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If they did, it would be easy to leave. Instead, they operate on a system of intermittent reinforcement. They might abuse you, devalue you, and make you feel small, only to shower you with kindness, apologies, and promises to change the next day. They bring you flowers after screaming at you. They cook you dinner after ignoring you for a week. This creates a chemical addiction in your brain. You become addicted to the relief that comes when they stop hurting you. This serves as positive reinforcement to make you second-guess any thoughts you might have of leaving them. You hold on to the good days as proof of their love, ignoring the reality of the bad days. Number 3. They tend to take their problems out on you. I want you to think back to the last time this partner, friend, or family member heard some bad news or encountered a problem at work. How do they usually deal with it? Do they process it like a mature adult? Or do they look for a target? Do they often lash out, take it out on you, even when you have done nothing wrong? In a healthy relationship, partners support each other through stress. In a trauma bond, you become the vessel for their rage. If they had a bad day at the office, you pay for it at home. If they lost their keys, it is somehow your fault. They could be keeping you around as their psychological punching bag, using you to regulate their own unruly emotions because they do not have the tools to do it themselves. And I need you to hear this clearly. You deserve better than that. You are not a dumping ground for someone else's unhealed trauma. You are a human being worthy of respect, regardless of what kind of day your partner is having. Number 4. They isolate you from your loved ones. This sign is often disguised as romance, which makes it incredibly tricky to spot. Some people might think it is sweet to have someone who wants them all to themselves. It feels flattering at first. They might say things like, "I just love being with you so much, I don't want to share you." Or they get jealous of those you spend your time with. But there is a massive difference between loving someone so much you want them around all the time and actively working to isolate them from the other important relationships in their lives. Isolation is a control tactic. Does this person get mad at you for spending time with anyone who isn't them? Do they make you feel guilty for visiting your parents? Do they criticize your best friends until you stop seeing them just to avoid the argument? Do they try to control who you are with or ask you to distance yourself from your friends and family? If the answer is yes, then that is as clear a red flag as any. They are trying to cut off your support system so that when the abuse happens, you have no one to turn to but them. They want to be your entire world so that you lose your perspective on reality. Number 5. You deny or minimize their abusive behavior. Now, let us look inward. Let us look at all the ways the trauma bond might affect you and your behavior. This is the part where we have to be really honest with ourselves. Oftentimes, the most telling sign that you are in a destructive relationship is not what they are doing, but what you are doing. It is if you find yourself constantly trying to deny or minimize the other person's wrongdoings. This is a survival mechanism. Your brain cannot handle the dissonance of loving someone who hurts you, so it changes the narrative. We look past all their mistreatment towards us and minimize the abuse by saying things like, "Oh, it is not that bad really," or "They didn't mean it like that," or "I don't mind it, I have thick skin." We do this because in the moment, it is easier for us to just brush it off instead of confronting what might be a terrible, harsh reality. That the person you are with is abusing you. Admitting that is terrifying because it means you have to make a choice. So, we minimize to stay safe in the illusion. Number 6, you constantly make excuses for them. This goes hand in hand with minimizing, but it involves the outside world. The moment you can no longer deny or minimize what the other person has done, perhaps they did something public or something so egregious you cannot hide it, and a family member or friend says something like, "What they did to you is not okay," or "Don't let them treat you like that." Pay attention to your reaction. In a trauma bond, you are still most likely going to try to make excuses for them and come to their defense. You become their lawyer. You say things like, "You don't understand them like I do," or "They had a really hard childhood," or "They are just under a lot of stress right now." At times, you might even find yourself feeling like you deserve their mistreatment, thinking, "Well, I shouldn't have annoyed them." Once you start thinking like this, that is a critical sign that you are in a trauma bond and not a loving relationship. In a loving relationship, your partner's behavior does not need to be defended. It speaks for itself. If you are constantly managing their public relations image to hide their private cruelty, something is deeply wrong. Number 7. You are becoming more and more emotionally numb. This is the tragedy of the trauma bond. It steals your spark. Have you noticed yourself feeling less and less lately? I do not just mean feeling less pain. I mean feeling less joy, less excitement, less hope. Like you are detached and emotionally numb, floating through your own life like a ghost. You might be feeling this way because subconsciously, it is your mind's way of coping with all of the abuse that it has had to deal with from the person you are trauma bonded to. Your nervous system is overwhelmed. You cannot take any more pain, fear, anger, or heartache. It is too much to process. So instead, you flip the switch. You close yourself off from all of your emotions. You are not as vibrant, talkative, or expressive as you used to be. You make yourself small. You make yourself quiet. And they are the reason why. You have learned that having needs or emotions leads to conflict, so you have stopped having them. Number 8. You are hiding aspects of your relationship from others. Finally, but perhaps most importantly, we have the secrecy. If you start to hide certain aspects of your relationship from those around you, then you know that there is definitely something wrong. Why else would you actively try to cover up how bad things are getting between you two? If you find yourself lying to your mom about how you got that bruise, or omitting the details of the fight you had last night to your best friend, ask yourself why. Deep down, you know that their behavior is unacceptable. You know that if people who truly loved you saw what was happening, they would tell you to leave. And because you are not ready to leave, because of that powerful trauma bond, you hide the truth. Loyalty towards an abusive significant other is a hallmark of trauma bonding. So you might find yourself becoming defensive or even angered by other people's attempts to intervene in your relationship and help you. You protect the abuser from the consequences of their actions, effectively becoming the gatekeeper of your own prison. These 8 signs are heavy. I know they are, and I want you to take a deep breath right now. If you are listening to this and feeling a tightness in your chest, or if tears are welling up in your eyes, please know that you are safe here. Identifying the problem is the first, most courageous step toward fixing it. You are not stupid for falling for this. You are not weak for staying. You are caught in a powerful psychological web, but webs can be broken. Do you relate to any of the things we have mentioned here? Does your story sound like the ones we have described? If you or anyone you know is trapped in a trauma bond with someone abusive, please, I beg of you, do not hesitate to speak out and seek professional help today. You do not have to do this alone. Therapists who specialize in trauma and abuse can help you untangle these wires in your brain. And if you need to, get in touch with authorities or local support shelters who can help you plan a safe exit. Your safety is the most important thing. You are precious. You are valuable, and you have a happy aura waiting to shine again, free from the shadows of someone else's darkness. Did you find this video valuable? Did it spark a realization in you? Tell us in the comments below. Your story helps others feel less alone. Please like this video to help it reach more people, and share it with friends that might find use in this video too. You never know who is suffering in silence. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell for more content that nurtures your mental health and empowers your spirit. All the references used are added in the description box below if you want to read more. Now, before we truly part ways for the day, I want to leave you with a final thought on healing. Breaking a trauma bond is not like a normal breakup. It is more like breaking an addiction. It comes with withdrawal. It comes with intense cravings to go back to the person who hurt you. This is normal. It does not mean you made a mistake. It means your brain is healing. Be patient with yourself. Healing is not a linear line. It is a messy, beautiful, chaotic spiral. There will be days when you feel strong and days when you feel like you are crumbling. On the crumbling days, remember this video. Remember that the charm was a mask. Remember that the unpredictability was a tactic. Remember that you deserve a love that is safe, consistent, and kind. True love does not require you to set yourself on fire to keep the other person warm. True love adds to your life. It does not subtract from your spirit. You have so much life left to live. Do not spend it locked in a room of someone else's making. You hold the key. You always have. I believe in you. I believe in your strength. And I believe in your future. Go out there and reclaim your peace. You are worth it. 100%. Goodbye for now.